Hey, GenXers. You've been telling yourself you're ready to leave. You've imagined the exit, your farewell email, turning in your laptop and walking out the door for the last time. But if you're like most GenXers I talk to, you might wonder, what if you finally leave and end up pacing around your house like a zombie? Even if you're over it, walking away still feels risky, not just financially, but emotionally. Because whether we like to admit it or not, our jobs give us more than a paycheck. Jobs give us a rhythm, a sense of who we are, proof that we matter. And even when we know something new is calling, part of us is afraid that letting go means losing more than we can afford. The good news is that if you name those coming losses, you can start to prepare. By anticipating what you'll need to rebuild, you'll lessen the emotional impact and free up energy to design what's next. This is Burn the Map, the podcast for Gen Xers dying to leave corporate and build something of their own. I'm Shelley McIntyre, a certified coach with decades of experience in corporate strategy and tech. I help midlife professionals ditch outdated roles and design a third act that actually fits. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Let's get into it. In a culture that celebrates quitting stories like they're action movies, the part we don't talk about is loss. Yes, corporate life may have burned you out. Yes, the thought of staying makes you feel like you're fading. And still, when people leave, they grieve. Not always loudly, but it's there. Because even if the job is no longer right, even if you hated it with all of your heart, it gave you a few things. Structure, status, a sense of importance. And that's worth honoring, not clinging to, but acknowledging. The rhythm you had, the community you built, even the inside jokes and the team Slack emojis, they were part of your day. They made things feel anchored, predictable, familiar. You mattered in a visible way. Your need for those familiar elements persists when you leave, but they just need new containers. And that's good news, because it means you have agency. You don't have to white-knuckle your way through loss. You can name what matters and start making room for it in your next chapter. What I hear from clients after they leave their jobs is this, and maybe you'll recognize yourself in one of these. I didn't expect it to feel this empty. I thought I would be more excited. I knew I wanted out. I didn't know how much I'd missed the routine. When we think about leaving, we picture freedom, but what we often feel is absence. And that absence isn't failure, it's feedback. It's a clue that we're wired for rhythm, for purpose, for contact with others. Fortunately, all of that is rebuildable, and you can start the rebuild even before you leave your job. You get to reimagine what those pieces will look like on the other side of the corporate wall. Start by noticing what feels like it's missing or needs some care. You don't have to love what you're leaving to mourn it. I'm going to say that again. You don't have to love what you're leaving to mourn it. Grief isn't just reserved for things we adored. It shows up when we let go of anything familiar, even things we've long outgrown. You can still feel deep relief and still miss what you left behind. You can feel proud of your decision and still feel unmoored. Both can be true. When I left my own corporate career, I was definitely ready to go. I thought I had prepared. I had savings, a plan, a new training program to start. But I didn't expect the silence. Granted, it was right at the start of the pandemic lockdown, so we were all experiencing silence. Still, I was surprised by how much I missed the casual, everyday connections, the hallway conversations, the team rituals, even the awkward pizza parties. After a few months alone in my home office, I would have spent top dollar for an awkward pizza party in the office kitchen. And the sneakiest loss was the feedback loop. You do good work, people notice, you feel proud, and without that, you have to create new ways to feel seen and valuable. That's the quiet reckoning of reinvention. You won't just gain something new, you'll lose some things too. And your job is to honor what mattered, even as you make space for what's next. You won't unravel, you'll reshape. If leaving corporate is on the horizon and you know some loss is coming, how can you plan ahead? According to self-determination theory, we all need 3 core things to feel grounded and content. And no, it's not just better lighting on Zoom calls. We need autonomy, the ability to make choices that reflect who we are. Competence, the feeling that we're good at something and growing. And connection, the sense that we matter to others and belong somewhere. Consider how your current job fulfills each of these elements. Are you in charge of a big project or managing a team? Do you get to decide what to wear to work or exactly what time to show up? That all reinforces your autonomy. How are you experiencing your own competence? These are the job duties you can do easily. It's the feeling of nailing a task. And what about your connection with others, like a teammate you gossip with or a colleague you learn from? Grab a notebook or open a doc and get specific. Knowing how you experienced your own autonomy, competence, and connection will point you in the right direction. Corporate life probably met those needs, imperfectly but consistently. When you leave, they don't disappear. They just stop being automatically fulfilled. So it's up to you to start to build and reinforce those elements outside of your job. These aren't one-and-done practices. They're habits you'll want to build into your everyday life. To boost your autonomy, make room for choice. What's one small decision you can make that's fully yours? It might be shifting your schedule slightly, carving out quiet time, or saying no to something you used to say yes to by default. To boost competence, feed what you're good at. What hobby or interest lights you up? What skill do you love using? Doubling down on a creative project, research topic, or a volunteer role can keep your sense of capability alive, especially when work gets a little blurry. To boost your connection, tend to your community. Which relationships started to fade while you were working so hard? It's time to rekindle or deepen some friendships. This way, when your work relationships go quiet, and trust me, they will, you're not left feeling disconnected. You can start reinforcing these building blocks of happiness now, so you're not navigating grief with an empty toolkit. The more honest you are about what you'll miss, the more intentional you can be about what you'll build. This is the difference between running from something and moving towards something that feels right. So name what mattered, grieve it if you need to, then burn the map and build what fits. Thanks for listening to Burn the Map. GenXer, you already have what you need to build a life that feels like yours. Want more tools and insights? Head to burnthemapcoaching.com. And if this episode sparked something, send it to a friend. It might be exactly what they need to hear.